raise it up, why? Raise it up. He raise it up, why? Raise it up. He raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? He raise it up. He raise it up, why? Raise it up. He raise it up, why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up.
Hello, hello. Hey, loves. I'm Wyann Vaughn, also known as Y, and this is Raise It Up, Y, the podcast. I hope you guys are all doing amazingly, and this is the last Thursday of February 2019, and we have some wonderful energy coming towards you, and this episode is going to kind of dovetail off of our previous episode and get you ready for some stuff to come. But before we do that, can we take a moment to just acknowledge the new member of our family? Her name is Midnight. This is my new podcasting mic from MXL, the BCD1 mic. Not to be confused with the LBC. That's a West Coast thing. You wouldn't know about that, don't worry. However, this mic here is it was a gift from, I don't know if you guys know, some of you guys know that I also am a musician, an artist rather, and at the NAMM show, the National Association of Music Merchants, we're going to say that's what it is today, at the NAMM convention in the bottom of January 2019, I went and I had such an awesome time and went to visit MXL because they're always very kind with me, and they also endorsed my uncle, Benjamin Wright. He's a really dope dude. You can look him up, Wright with a W. And we just talked to them about Raise It Up, Why the podcast. We let them know that we're raising your vibration, we're raising your awareness, and we're raising your capacities for love, which is knowledge. And they loved it. And then they gave me this. Hi, boo. Hi. Okay, I don't know if that's going to mess up anything because I'm not used to having her. So I just wanted to introduce you all to Midnight. I'll talk about her more in the Pay Your Dues section of our podcast here. But again, as I've already said, Raise It Up Y is the podcast where OGs get to kick real game to real ones only. All right. You'll learn later that I am one of those OGs. I know that you don't necessarily think it when you first see me, but trust and believe. The gangster is all here today. I'm also going to be introducing you all to the way we're going to be doing the show from here on out. And I'm saying that because I have I have an idea of how I want this thing to go. Because I've seen other podcasts now, and I've been working on looking at other ones and listening to other ones. And I feel like it's kind of limitless, and you kind of can be yourself and do you on these. And as a result of that, I feel like I'm going to shake things up a little bit. It's going to make it more difficult for my camera crew and these wonderful men behind these beautiful big cameras and mics and things like that. And I don't care because they love me and I love them. So they're going to be making sure that my visions come to life. They're going to be making sure that my visions come to life. Okay. So, can we get started? All right. We're going to get started. So again, for today's episode, we're going to explain a bit of the structure of the show, how it's going to go. It's something that I call a la carting. And after I a la carte you all and show you all the different types of segments that are going to be on the show from here on out, I'm going to delve into one of said segments so you can get a feel for the goodness therein, all right? Because again, I'm giving you this information to raise up your awareness, to raise up your vibration, and to raise up your capacities for love. And as always, we're going to round the episode out with Wyann's words of wisdom. I'm going to pay my dues because I generally do that anyways. And then we're going to outro this hoe and get everything going. All right. So one of the newer things, and it is a segment of the a la carting section, but it's one that I want to make a staple that we're going to do right after the intro of every episode. And it's called your grounding. Of course, this is the therapist in me. From the first episode, you guys will know that I am a trained therapist. I am an active artist of hip hop in the world of poetry, singing, and songwriting. And I am also an educated educator. Okay? I know that sounds redundant, but some of your educators who possess degrees don't really act educated. So, randomly, I actually have both the education and I am an educator that's currently practicing. So, this side of the segment is going to be more related to my therapist side. And grounding, by definition in the therapy world, is just getting you to enter the space that you're currently in. Different from kind of multitasking, which we all think is stuff that we do, where multitasking is really, in today's day and age, multi-distracting. It's very rare that we're doing several things, even two things at the highest level at the same times that we're doing something. So if you're listening to this podcast while you're driving, do not close your eyes. How about that? If you are relaxed somewhere and you're able to, you can even close your eyes during this segment of Raise It Up Why the podcast, where I'm going to be talking with you. And I want you to really, really tune in and tap into the tone of my voice. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing you in to our world meaning you with me right now. In bringing you in to what we're doing right now, I'm asking that you leave out everything, every thought, every vibration, every idea of life that isn't related to you and me right now, in this moment. All of that is grounding. So I'm going to give you a little prompt right fast. And you know I'm a poet, so I like poetry. Here I go. So I want you to take a moment to be here with me. Hear my voice. Feel your feet. Wiggle your toes. Touch your nose. And just recognize that you're here. Breathe a breath in. Blow a breath out. Again through your nose. And out through your mouth. Take a moment to own this miracle right now called life. That you're breathing and winning just by living this life. Just by spending this time with my voice right now, you're investing in your betterment. Sit with that and feel proud and welcome. Is that good? Can I just welcome you guys into my space? Let's go up. Let's go the fuck up. Why not? All right. A la carte style of the show. So the intro you already got. I say hello and do all the good stuff. Tell you guys what's coming up. And, this intro happened to mention my sexy new partner named Midnight. And this is my wonderful little baby girl called my new MXL BCD1 mic. And then we also just had a second segment, I should have said, portion of this podcast called Grounding. It's a new thing that I'm introducing, and it's what we're going to do from here on out, where you all get to take a moment to leave anything behind in your life that isn't related to you being here with me right now. So, a couple segments that I got up. One is going to be called Raise 'em Up. Raise 'em Up is where I'll bring one of my students on. And I know some of you guys know that I teach at the Ujima program from Pasadena City College. And I have a bunch of boys that helped me to start this podcast, one in particular, but you'll meet him in another episode. But I want to bring on my students, and they get to ask a question of me, and they get to also share their stories with you all. And as I was telling my guys helping me out with this podcast, being able to tell your story is cathartic. It's allowing you to get you out, your truth out into the world, and knowing that someone hears your story, hears it, doesn't pick it apart, doesn't try to fix you, is not judging what's been said, just that someone hears you. That is healing. And I know this show, and I hope you guys are feeling that this show is all about healing and helping you all become better versions of yourselves so that you can become better moms, husbands, daughters, friends, authors, creatives, instructors, anything you guys think you want to be. I want to make sure that you guys recognize when you're here, you're actually investing into the betterment of you. All right. So when my babies come on here, and my students are my babies, all of them, even when they're 45 years old, they're my babies. The 72-year-old, she's my baby. So when my babies come on here, we'll be hearing their stories, allowing them to be themselves and speak themselves, and we all will be hearing them and just absorbing them and recognizing that they're beautiful, just like we know we are. All right? So that's Raise Them Up. That's one segment that you'll find on this show. A second segment you'll find on this show is called Get Raised. It's when I bring an OG in the game onto the show and we all get raised, because the OGs I'm talking about will definitely be kicking me down some game as well as everybody else. I surely don't know everything in this life, and I hope if I live the life correctly, I plan to never know everything in this life, because I think the second you know it all, what's left at that point? So Get Raised, the second segment of this show, is where you and I will get raised up by some other energy that comes on the show. A third segment that you'll see on this show is called Break It Down. And it's where I, sometimes alone and sometimes with one of my babies, one of my students, will uncover the genius within the hip hop culture, especially in hip hop lyrics. Don't snarl and don't laugh if you're an OG like me and you're thinking about some of these youngins and how they rap. Because I'm going to say there is genius in these lyrics, okay? We're going to find it, though. We're going to find it because everything is telling us something, all right? Everything is telling us something. All that is said and all that isn't said is all, it's speaking. It's all telling us something. So we're going to uncover the genius in hip-hop lyrics, because I think that the hip-hop I'm the hip-hop generation, so of course the hip-hop generation. But I think that the hip-hop culture is genius within itself, from its inception all the way to now. So Break It Down will be the third type of segment you will see on this show. A fourth segment, and one you're going to actually see today, is called #HighWhy. #HighWhy is where I'll be giving feedback to listeners who correspond with the @RaiseItUpY accounts. And there's a Twitter account, there's an Instagram account, and there's a Facebook account. So in the inbox, in the DMs, wherever you decide or as a tweet, wherever you would decide to want to hear some feedback from my perspective about a life issue, anything that you're going through, just if you wanted to hear something from me, or maybe if there's an OG on the show, maybe an OG on the show will be helping me with a couple of these. You just @RaiseItUpY, and then you put #HighWhy, HIWY, #HIWY, and send in a question, some sort of question. And it can be about anything in life, and we'll tackle it. We'll grapple with it. Wrestle with it? We'll play with it. I like playing better than fighting. So we'll play with it here on the show. So that's the fourth type of a segment, #HighWhy, that you'll see on the show. The fifth type of segment makes my heart sing, because it's called Do a Ditty. All right. And a Do a Ditty is where I will be sharing personal freestyles or release new music and or poetry right here on y'all asses. You had to dig that? So I think the Do a Ditty will be a pretty fun segment, and there'll be some exclusive content that you'll possess right here, or you'll have access to right here by way of listening to the show. And it's a little fun thing that I used to do on the pharmacy with Dr. Dre that was on Apple Music, Apple Music's Beats One radio, really. And it's something that I've been doing forever. And Dre just gave me my free reign. He's like, yo, do a poem on here. Or sing on this, or just do that. I remember one time Exhibit, they had a J-Rock and Battle Cat had a instrumental on of the Big Payback or something like that, and I was getting ready to do a poem, and Exhibit was like, "Why fuck that shit? Bust, just bust." I'm like, "Okay, nigga, let's go." So it makes me very happy, as you can see, being able to express myself creatively and with music has always been one of my favorite things. So the Do I Diddy section is going to be pretty fun. And then Wyann's Words of Wisdom, that's something that you got last episode. It's something that you'll get this episode and for the others, because it's one of the sections that people are highly responsive about. They really like getting a couple words of wisdom. But I think this whole show is you guys getting a bunch of my thoughts about things. So all my words are hopefully somewhat wise. I don't know. I like to bullshit sometimes, but mostly you're going to get a lot of my wisdom. And then pay your dues. You guys knew that from last time. I'm going to be making sure I promote brands and products that are definitely endorsing me, Wyann Vaughn, as an artist, or the actual podcast in and of itself, as well as maybe there's some product or a line of something that I just enjoy and I think that its mission is hella cool and I want you guys to learn about it as well. That would be all a part of my pay your dues portion. And then the outro, I'll give you guys some dates and things and tell y'all goodbye and I miss y'all and I'll see y'all soon and all that good stuff. All right? All right. So again, the types of segments you'll see, because we are a la carting the show, the types of segments you will see on the show: raise them up, get raised, break it down, hashtag HighY, and that's an interactive one. So you guys make sure you're sending at Raise It Up Y. It's spelled just like the show. I don't know. Do I have to spell it? RAISEITUPWY. Raise It Up Y accounts on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And you guys make sure you give me your questions, and they'll be answered here. And then 5 is Do a Diddy, where I share some of my funky little cool stuff with you all. All right. Hashtag HighY is the segment that we'll be working with today. Mind you, you won't see all 5 of these per each episode. That's why I'm telling you we're a la carting it. You're going to get maybe 2 or 3 of those 5, and then they'll be sandwiched in to the regularly scheduled program that we do within the show. All right? So if you guys have questions about that, let me know. I just wanted to give you that so you guys don't be like, why this shit is not the same shit from last time. That's why. Hashtag HighY. This first question I got comes from a beautiful young lady from New York named De'Ara. Okay. And De'Ara, she asks, how do you deal with fear and anxiety that may come with making a big career move? Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. As an edutainer, I've definitely had a few big moves that weren't set in stone, and I didn't know exactly what the right thing to do in a situation was. A lot of this, I feel like I'm going to sound like a broken record for like the time you all know me, because I'm such a huge proponent of self-time, self-discovery, self-knowledge, self-love, that you guys are going to be like, okay, we get it. You're the love girl. And I'm going to be like, yeah. And I'm going to keep telling you that in more new creative ways. But before I make any huge career decision, Exhibit, he was telling us on his birthday in 2017 how he likes to go out and be on the water. He goes out fishing and he's on the water, just him, nature, his thoughts, and God. And he sits and he's out there and he just needs everything to be kind of placid. Everything kind of comes down. And then at that point, he decides anything he wants to do in his next move from there. There's a genius in that course of actions when decision making with big decisions, especially for your career, because as you'll see if you research the topic, a lot of individuals will say meditate first. Wait until you get a natural impulse out of that meditation and trust your gut, trust your instinct from that space. Do I do that all the time? I think I do. I don't know that I always quiet my mind and do the meditation feature, but what I'm noticing is that you said, how do you deal with fear and anxiety? And let me tell you just right now, I feel like there's only two spaces any individual lives from: Fear Street or Lover's Lane. Fear Street or Lover's Lane. And some people have condos on Fear Street and maybe a cot on Lover's Lane. Some people have luxury homes on Fear Street and they rent a room out of Lover's Lane, meaning there are some individuals that subscribe humongously, have invested a lot of stock in the world of fear and anxiety and doubt and criticism and cynicism and sarcasm. And then there are those same individuals that would like to call themselves lovers or think that they love themselves, but they rarely speak love. Their vibrations rarely reverberate love. And I'm one of those individuals that I don't know. I mean, I have to have stock on Fear Street because we all are human and there's some fear there, I'm sure. So if I have a room rented out on Fear Street, I have a mansion on Lover's Lane. I know I have a mansion on Lover's Lane. If I don't have a damn apartment building where I rent to other people to make sure that they keep space on Lover's Lane. You know what I mean? So I don't make any decision from fear or anxiety. Fuck that. Fuck fear and fuck anxiety, if you keep it G. And you'll learn later why I feel like real gangster is being in love anyways. Being in love, not in love with someone. I'm talking about living your life in the space of love. And I only make decisions from a space of love. So when a big career move is on the horizon for me, I sit with myself. It's not quiet though. It's usually music involved. And I journal. I journal a lot because as my book, we'll talk about that later, but some of you guys already know from the first episode, my book, Write Out, I journal daily and I write out my ideas, and it's like Freudian's free associative writings where I put pen to pad and I just don't stop. I just don't stop for at least 5 minutes. Just go. And what I notice is in those moments, you ever notice how people say, oh, you had a Freudian slip, a Freudian moment sort of a thing? It's what you say or think or do when you're not thinking. It's what you do naturally, instinctually even. And in those Freudian moments, when you have that time where you're free writing like I do when I journal, sometimes I say things to myself that I didn't know were in me. I'll reveal how angry I was about something, or I'll reveal how smart of an idea I felt something was earlier that day, that in the moment earlier in that day, I actually cast it away. I cast down. So having write-outs and journals, keeping a journal is where I kind of get to have this moment where I let out all the rubbish, any spillage of anything in my system, and I get to the truest sense of who I am. It's like being able to take out the trash, and then you know, when you take out the trash, you don't throw away the trash can. The trash can was just holding all the trash and the trash liner. So when you journal, sometimes you just get out all of the muck, or you sort through, because, you know, some things were in the trash can that could have been in the recycling bin, sort of a thing. So you kind of sort through your stuff. You kind of get to see you when you journal. And when I write out, I learn more about myself. And from those spaces, if a big career decision comes and I see that it's something that I'd already been hinting at in a journal from 10 days ago and 3 months ago and 2 weeks ago, now I got to sit and I got to meditate with that. I got to be there with that thing. My meditation sometimes comes from long walks on the beach or jogging it out somewhere, or maybe sometimes even talking about what I'm thinking to a whole bunch of different people. I definitely did that with this podcast. I just surveyed randomly a bunch of men and just started talking about, hey, what would you think about a place where a lot of like hip hop and maybe kind of a little unbridled masculinity could come out, but under a female perspective? And it intrigued every guy I spoke with, ethnically diverse men, socioeconomic status different and diverse men, students and OGs alike. It was a lot of feedback that I got, all of it positive. And then I knew that starting this podcast was the right decision, even though I had had it hinted in my spirit over the course of all of last semester, well, fall 2018 semester. It was right when I journaled about it and it came out randomly. And then I followed that up with my own thoughts and ideas and talking about it. And then I surveyed the individuals I thought would benefit most from it. And everybody had something good to say. So it's a lot of self-work. I guess that's what I would say. How do I deal with fear and anxiety that comes from a big career move? One, I don't deal in fear and anxiety. It has to be about love and a self-revelation, a true, authentic self-revelation, or I don't do it. And then that career move, whatever it is, it has to come, it has to serve a purpose too. It has to serve a purpose. I just thought about that. Any career move I do has to be something that is needed or is true. It has to stand for positivity and it has to stand for love. And if it doesn't stand for those two things, very, very open, very big, very general things, but if it doesn't stand for those things, I don't give a shit if you're offering me $15 million every minute. Hell the fuck no. If my soul can't sleep at night, but I'm rich, nah. You can keep that money. Everybody has a price, but mine ain't money. Mine is love and mine is positivity. So that's how I deal with making a big career decision and a big career move. So you know what? I think I have time for one more. Hashtag hi why. And this particular question comes from a young lady, Midi, from Pasadena, California. Midi asks, how do I as a woman stand out in this male-dominated field? And how can I build a rapport that is strictly business without being shooed away? Oh, honey. Oh, ladies, not just Midi, anybody, any lady looking to make it in this industry. I'll say this. Let's go for your first question first. How do I as a woman stand out in a male-dominated field? Baby, you're a woman. You already stand out. Next, you know what I mean? As a woman, you stand out in this industry. There are less women who are doing things in this industry. And I'll give you personal testimony to say most of the time that I go into a studio, I'm the only female there to work. You can make your own assessments about anything I'm not saying. But what I am saying is, with the exception of working with Il Camille, Yo-Yo, and Rhapsody, in the hip hop world, I'm saying, my mom and them, the emotions in a different style of world or whatever. But in this hip hop world where it's just my career, not me with my parents or with my sisters or something like that, I am the only female working a lot of the time with a bunch of the men that I work with. Which brings me to your second question. How can I build a rapport that is strictly professional? I like how you said strictly professional and business minded without being shooed away. The first, and kids, close your ears, parents, do what you got to do to your babies. The first thing you need to make sure you do is keep your knees very close together. Okay? How are you? Okay with that answer right quick? If I'm keeping it G with you, keep business by not falling in love or lust with the business. You need to fall in love with something, fall in love with the bag, okay? If you fall in love with the business of it all, with the money of it all, with the success, progressing your personal brand, making sure that you know why you came into this whole thing, you should be good. I want to give you a couple, goodness, I want to give you a couple of stories to say that in one case, what I tell my girls going into this industry who think they want to be professionals in this industry, who think they want to be artists in this industry, the last thing you want to be is a studio story. A studio story is where a bunch of the guys get around and they'll talk about half the chicks they done smashed, and they'll compare notes and they learn, what? You smashed that on tour? Man, I thought that dancer was only smashing me. Oh, that's crazy. And there's never beef, by the way, ladies. It's not beef that they've both smashed on you. It's a camaraderie. And you just look silly. You look dumb. You look less than valuable. And then people like to give hip hop a bunch of ill will and bad credit when ain't no fun if the homies can't have none type songs come about, thinking that there are men out here just looking to degrade women just for the hell of degrading women. No. The age-old question, does life imitate art or does art imitate life, has to be applied here. A lot of these men who rap are talking about actual incidents and instances that have happened in their unique experience. You can't judge their unique experience. Their experience is their experience. And in their experience, every other city we go, every other video, no matter where I go, I see the same hoe. That is a real experience. I can take you all the way back to, hey, Mrs. Jones. That's a real experience. We got a thing going on. That was a real experience. A lot of this stuff, I need you guys to realize when people are writing about things, they're not writing to intentionally hurt a particular person in society or a population of the world. They're writing from their individual experiences. And to tell them that they need to never speak about their individual experience is to attempt to silence their truth and their reality. And I think all of us are attempting to be able to be comfortable with our truths, whatever that is and whatever they may be. So I'm just giving you that to say how you stay business and professional in this industry as a woman and not get shooed away. Mind you, I love that shooed word. It's the reason I chose this question. I just got to be honest. And I don't want to get shooed away. I love shooed. Ooh, shooed. The poet in me has a crush on words and wordplay. So shooed. Anyways, to not get shooed away in this industry as a woman, keep a balance, be business, and be sweet. Both of those things are highly respectable and they are respected in the world. To come off too business-minded to the point where you have almost no personability and no soft skills makes you the bitch. And nobody wants to do business with the bitch, okay? To come off too sweet and inviting to every guy you meet, makes you the hoe. And I don't want you to be either. I want you to be a boss bitch. You understand? I want you to be the chick that comes in and gets the stuff done. I just want you to be an important feature in any work environment that you find yourself in. If you create your lane, walk in that lane and keep yourself focused on what you came there to do, I think that every male, female, or transgender, I'm talking about LGBTQ community members as well. I don't care who you are. If you come in there about your business, ready to do the job, focused on the job, a nice person that subscribes to humility and positivity and love, I've seen every member of society that I just described have hella success because they've subscribed to positivity, love, and definite humility while in the presence of giants. Look at yourself like what you want to be. Wyann walks into a studio, before I walk into any studio, and the men in this room can attest to this because some of them have seen me do it, I say a prayer. I thank God for the opportunity of whatever I'm about to do when I walk into that studio or that workspace, whatever it might be. And I also say, Lord, when people see me, I pray that they experience you today. I want to live a life always that God is the culprit for why you think I'm so dope at the end of it. That's just Wyann's personal what I do. Other people subscribe to other things, but I'm not other people. I'm why. So as Wyann, I want you to know that it's very possible to be a very dope woman, a very curvaceous woman, a very smart woman, and a very down woman, and to have a positive experience as a heterosexual young lady in the presence of a bunch of powerful men. Knowing who you are really solves a lot of the issues that a lot of young ladies find themselves in pickles with. Having a firm sense of who and what you are, and then a support system that always reaffirms who and what you are. It keeps your focus. It keeps you focused. I hope that this podcast community becomes a space for young professionals, people looking to get it, young aspiring bosses, male, female, or anything else. I would love to have a community of people who subscribe to love, positivity, humility, and any of love's cousins. I don't care what adjective you want to give it. I want these traits to be the focal point, the cynosures, if you will, of where everybody comes together that listens to this podcast, so that you have a network of individuals that if you ever start to doubt who and what you are and how dope you are, you have all these voices that can tell you, oh no, girl, you still that girl. You still the one. You the boss. You got this. You feel down. Or let's just say, you know what? We're human. Let's say you made a mistake. Let's say something didn't go the right way and you were too hard in a situation, or you slept with someone that you shouldn't have, or whatever. Guess what? My 13 culture states that I live by way of resilience. That means I know that things go down and that I can in life get down, but no way in hell do I stay down. If I fall down 12 times, I get up 13. All right? So if you've made a mistake, which is life, you brush that mistake off and you work to focus on the opposite of that mistake. And the solution is what becomes your new focus. Don't beat yourself up over the head. No self-deprecation. None of that shit. You just boss up. Like, all right, play as fuck up. It is what it is. And keep going. Listening to podcasts like this, dealing with individuals that can always reaffirm your dopeness, stuff like that. That'll get you right. Because as a lady, yes, it is not the easiest thing to work with a bunch of successful, awesome men that you see on TV. Like stuff that you only can dream about sometimes is what I walk into after leaving Pasadena City College and working with my students in the Ujima program. I'm walking into a lot of your dreams. I've seen the albums that have literally time-stamped life have not. The art in this world, hip hop especially, has not been the same because the existence of these albums, these men, these people. There's a lot of bigness in there, and when the energy is right and everything is high and everyone feels great, I guess, if I don't know, if I were a different type of individual, maybe something different than business could have transpired with some of these types of individual. But like I say, I can only live my experience as Wyann, and I only know what I know, and that wasn't my experience. And if it is another lady's experience, it doesn't mean that it has to only be her experience. So I want you to be a self-assured businesswoman in this industry and know that you can have a strictly professional, business minded legacy in this industry. So long as you keep your mind right, stay focused on why you got into this industry and what you plan to do. What marks do you plan to leave on this industry? Doing self-talks and write-outs and things like that on the daily I feel like those things keep you focused. All right? So that's my second high why for the day. And I'm gonna segue right into my words of wisdom. I already gave you all the a la carting of how we're going to do the rest of the episodes. I showed you one of the segments, which is the hashtag high why. And now here we go into this wonderful Wyann's words of wisdom. That was 4 W's right there. Wonderful Wyann's words of wisdom. Woo! Well, wizard. No, I'm messing. I'm messing. I'm just trying to make people laugh in the room. Don't worry about it. So my words of wisdom. I'm gangster. Yeah. I'm gangster. Real shit, man. I'm gangster. And no, the head wrap has nothing to do with this statement, neither. I am more G'd up than one would think, because I feel like the definition of gangster is one who's good in any hood. A person who can be respected as an OG regardless of their geographical location. So let me explain this. I don't know of any more gangster concept in life than love and self-love at that. As a G in love, I go where I want to go in this life peacefully. I do what I desire in this life fully. And I sleep well at night, knowing that I've always been true to myself. I think one might even call that being loyal to my soil. I think E40 would call it that. But love in and of itself doesn't happen without knowledge. And we live in a society now where a lot of people like to know things, but they don't like to learn things. To know things simply means that you can go on a search and type in something and the answer comes right up. When I was a math instructor, it would be like going to the back of the book and looking at the odd answers to the math questions, right? That's knowing. You know the answer. But knowing the answer doesn't help you learn the process. And it feels like in this day and age, learning the process has become less popular for some reason. But if you learn the process, you won't just know the answer to one question. When you learn the process, you learn the key to answer any question that may be on your homework or your tests later on. So if you've caught any promo for the footage of this show, you've heard me say that Raise It Up looks to raise your awareness, your vibration, and your capacity for love. And the capacity for love is knowledge, considering you can't love what it is that you don't know. So think of it like this. Muster any idea of a concept that you love in life right now in your head. Some of you just envisioned your kids or your mate. Others of you may have thought about gaming, let's say, because you love that. Half of you thought of sex. Yeah. And 3 of you probably envisioned your career or your job. Whatever the thing is that you love, though, I want you to hold it in your head right now and then list 3 to maybe 10 things in your head on your own that you know about that thing that you love. List some things in your head to yourself that you know about the thing that you love. But hurry up, because I ain't got all day. Now, if this is something you truly love, you can do this easily. This exercise, no sweat. And you could give me facts for days and go on and on and on tirelessly about that thing that you love. Because all of those little factoids are the things that you know and that you've learned about that subject. Knowledge, therefore, is the key that unlocks the door to the possibility of love. Let me say that again. Knowledge is the key that unlocks the door to the possibility for love. And I say that because sometimes what you unlock that door and open it to, sometimes that room ain't lovely. And just because you know it doesn't mean that it's your favorite thing. It doesn't mean that you're completely enamored with what greets you in that room of possibilities. But you can know it, know your truths, your authentic truths, and at the very least, just acknowledge that they're there. And if those truths, which may not be pretty, are a part of you, maybe we could just work on not hating them. Because if they're a part of you, they got to be some sort of beautiful. Because you are. In case nobody told you today. And no, I'm not trying to blow smoke up your skirt. I'm a bona fide lover and I'm a trained therapist. I'm qualified to tell you that you, yes, you, are a fucking knockout in your own world. And I hope that you look at yourself in that same way, because what I could tell you, man, I know this chick named Wyann. I know her. And the more that life happens, boy, there are nooks and crannies of this chick named Wyann Vaughn. And I look at her sometimes in the mirror, and I can be honest with you. Sometimes the stuff I see, it poses challenges that make me question the very fibers of my being. Because I've made some less than admirable choices, and I've taken my L's, trust. But with the way my loving, gangster-ass mindset is set up, I know that regardless of the L, I know I got the dub. And I'm saying dub not just because I'm from the West, or maybe I am, who knows? You can call it the West Coast chick in me, or the fact that my initials are WLV. WLV. I wake up every day with my dub. I know I'm winning. Every single day I wake up, I know I got a dub. I am winning. But when life hands me an L, with this WLV life that I got going, I take an L, I take a loss, but with the way I'm set up, my victory is directly behind it. I know that. I know that because that's the reality and the truth that I subscribe to. That's the beauty of me knowing me and being able to be comfy with the chick that I see in the mirror every day, when she has makeup on, when she's dressed to the nines, or when she ain't got nothing else going for herself but the fact that she's a sweetheart. I know I'm that bitch every day I wake up. So, however you slice it, I want you to know that real gangster is love. Real gangster is love, not fighting folks that live where you live or killing people that look like you. Not arguing and or debating and then judging every mofo that doesn't think like you. Not people pleasing and doing the will of everybody around you. Whether that be a boss at your job or a street code that attempts to force you to do something that doesn't sit right with the inside of your being. If you're not living to your own knowledge of self, it means that you're living to please somebody else. The hood, a boss, anybody. So what I want you to know is that I don't know what type of gangster you think you are or who you think you might be, but only taking time to discover yourself and knowing yourself and then choosing to love. Because yes, there's choices not to love you, and there's choices to make fun or poke fun at or to self-deprecate and be mean towards you. Yeah, you have those choices, but no, the true gangster, flaws and all, you love on yourself. You love what you've discovered in all of your self-discovery. You love what you've uncovered. Only that sort of thug life makes you a motherfucking gangster to me. And those are my words of wisdom for this day. I hope that you were able to hear the love and the seriousness of my words, because guess what? My words are my words, and I don't take shit back. And I want that to sit with you And know that you, once again, are that beautiful thing that I told you you was and will always be. And let that real love, let that real gangster shit live within you, all right? That shit's gangster like a West Coast Battle Cat beat from fucking '01, like, boom, 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 boom. You understand? Like, hey, I'm sorry, that's just me. That's just where I live. Okay. Right back at him again with another dose of it, Brody. My cousin, Maya Smith, is the founder and CEO and head educator of the Doux. She just put out a new product called Swagoo. Remember how I started my first podcast ever and I was hating on my students that forgot to teach me how to do my baby hairs? And they always said they would, and here I actually needed it, and they wasn't there for me. You remember that? Yeah. This Swagoo life right here is the Doux' official edge control. And I am not saying that I'm wearing my headband to cover up the fact that I don't know how to control my edges. But I'm not going to not say that either. Okay? Is that vague enough for you? Also, I wanted to send another shout out to the awesome people over at MXL for this beautiful BCD1 mic for podcasting. Her name is Midnight. She is so beautiful, and I bet she sounds lovely. I don't know because I'm talking into her right now, and then that's just all that is. So you guys will be reaping the benefits of her as I am. And third and lastly, but never least, as I definitely made a sound I didn't know I was supposed to make. You guys remember her. This is the Ride Out, baby. And yes, you have the option of purchasing her and supporting Ride Out in her physical form by contacting me in my website, wyannvaughn.com, wyannvaughn.com. All right. You can get her physically if you contact me personally, and if you just want the ebook so that she can roll with you anywhere on one of your mobile devices, you can press a button and you can have her there. Very soon and quickly to come will be the audiobook version of Ride Out, and you're going to love that. I've been hearing people say, I love the poetry, but I so hear it in your voice to the point where now I need to hear it in your voice. And I got that coming for you. Trust and believe me when I say that. Just know, couple dates later tonight, we are going to be at the Hip Hop Forum at Pasadena City College, 6 to 8 p.m. If you happen to hear this podcast in time and you are on the West Coast, not far from Pasadena, California, come up. Just Google Pasadena City College because that's the only address it is. And I've been working there 6 years, and I think I don't know 1570 East Colorado. Okay, yeah, you just Google it. Fuck it. Okay, Google it and you'll see the Hip Hop Forum, and we'll have some awesome guests there tonight. Couple weeks from now, Wednesday, March 13th. You remember I didn't have a date for you last time for the Sound Creators, the Mental Wellness Edition. Now I do have a date for you. March 13th at 1500 Sound Academy, 8729 Aviation Boulevard, Inglewood, California. Yes, and that's from 7 to 9 p.m. on that Wednesday, March 13th. And then, just for shits and giggles, April 13th. April 13th, ladies and gentlemen. That's my birthday. That's my birthday. It's a Saturday and stuff too, so I don't even know what I'm gonna be doing. But if nothing else, you guys give me a shout out, send me some love, tell me what your favorite love lesson that you've gotten from the podcast so far has been or will have been and everything. So you'll have an episode between then now. You'll have an episode at the last Thursday of March. You'll be able to also send some love and everything, and I'll remind you that it's my birthday coming up then too. And hey guys, I appreciate you guys so much for listening, for tuning in, for watching if you're on my YouTube, and just know that there is so much love and positivity here for you. I appreciate you all. My name is Wyann Vaughn, also known as Y, and this has been another episode of Raise It Up, Y, the podcast. Much love and positivity. Mwah, 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 mwah. And I'll see you the next last Thursday of the month. That'll be in March. Last Thursday of the month at the 13th hour, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast, of course. Stay real, y'all.